The moment is here, you can stop your search. It's Comics by Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch. Got a viewer question. By the way, people are it's like, can I still send questions? You're wrapping up the channel. Well, I mean, you might as well. I'm answering them slower. There's longer gaps. Again, the videos land every day, but there's been in recording. There's sometimes weeks in between, which it's evident by the fact that I had 80 plus videos stack up, and I was really close to just like, all right, back to 2 videos a day for a while to burn through this. And I probably need to do that because I'm relatively sure there's videos that are going to come out going, well, San Diego Comic-Con is coming up in October. Pretty sure. It's just a big backlog of stuff. To be blunt, I also have had the thought of just, screw it. I'll just delete all these and call it a day. You know, who needs to hear this old commentary? But I put it out, and why not? It doesn't take much work to put it out. And you know, yes, I can already hear what's in the comment section, but no, that's what I'm going to do because it's my channel. Fuck it. Anyway, let's get to this mail. It says, questions. Dear Perch, I have questions. All right. I have answers. When are you going to open up your shop again? November. Will it be brick and mortar or online? It will be brick and mortar with online. And unfortunately, I think my involvement in it is going to be similar to how it was in Seattle. So I'll be more the money guy than the guy riding the counter, which is I don't know. You know what? Never mind. This part of the conversation isn't worthwhile for anyone. You have things that you kind of want to do in life, and then you make choices for family, and you make choices for just practicality, and they don't always line up. But I miss the counter. I miss the smell. I miss not always the smell, but I miss it. And such is life. First world problems. Are you planning on doing a final live Friday drinks and comics with Joe and other guests in the past? If you can get hold of some of them, that'd be fun just for old time's sake. I think there will be a live stream soon, potentially before this video comes out. There's going to be more. It's fun. I had good memories of big parts of that. It was always stressful for me. Because I view the live streams differently. A lot of channels, I think it's more of a fun enjoyment kind of thing. For me, it was I need to prepare. I want to have a good thing. I viewed myself as host. It's very similar to when I do interviews. I view myself as the interviewer or the host. And so they get to have the fun. It's my job to make sure they have the fun and the listeners have the fun. It is not my job to make myself have fun. And that's just kind of how I view it. It's kind of a weird way, maybe. But that's how I do it. But we'll definitely do it again. And the reality is, there's quite a few people. I mean, I'm harassed. I mean, I've let people down. I can think of easily, very quickly, 10 names from the past who've done things, who are very anxious to do interviews and live streams and all kinds of things. So it's me. It's not them. There is no shortage of people who would like to be interviewed and have a chat and everything else, and it's just time. Time has been brutal. At some point, we do the face reveal and we do kind of the, here's what's been going on. I think a lot of you are going to be like, oh, it's going to make a lot of sense. I mean, enough of you have hints of it. I talk about traveling all over the place. My mileage this year, I think I'm right under 300,000 miles of flight time this year. Is that a lot? Yes. I'll just put it in a year. Yeah, that's a lot. Absolutely absurd travel, like 2 nights in Europe and back, just crazy. Anyway, you mentioned in countless videos you'll be getting things ready to open. Perch, if my questions made you mad or have a negative feeling about the subject, then don't answer. I'm not writing this email to piss you off. What? Thank you for your time. No. What? No. P.S. Joe is the more funnier when you two do those videos about the comic industry, people, and money because he's a pro. No, that's not a cheap shot. I took at you, Perch, nor am I kissing Joe's ass. Dude, you worried too much. You're all worrying too much. Of course Joe is funnier. Well, first of all, Joe's a writer. He better be funnier. I mean, if he's a big comic writer and I'm the funny one, then that's, I don't know. He's got to rethink his career a little bit, but of course he's the funnier one. And then also, again, it's my job to to make him be funny, or not make him be funny, but set him up to talk. I mean, it's, again, I'm the host. He's the talent in this case. The guy, a guy I miss terribly from doing these live streams with. I mean, look, first of all, they were all great. I think the Jeff Thorne streams were incredible. I always loved doing streams with him, and it was always great because Jeff was clearly a comic fan. People took shots at him, and he got wrapped up in the culture war stuff. Not so much him. I mean, the funny thing about him is his Twitter was what it was. Like it he would go out and give statements and say things on there, but it wasn't. It never felt, and it still doesn't feel like it's this backhanded, manipulative. A bunch of us are getting together to go attack a certain person. It's like just off the cuff. This is what I think, which I appreciate. But he's a comic fan. We get in there and it's like, let's now talk super dense about the 5 years later Legion era, and like we know that there's 5% of the people listening who even know what that is. And so you can, I will take geek cred any day of the week, and he had it. But one of the guys I had the most fun with, and it was always because his expressions, and he's somebody who I think deserves a ton more followers and praise for what he's done, is Pat Shand. So Pat is, Pat, first of all, Pat's been killing it with his crowdfunding work. And when I say killing it, I mean consistent. He just like turns the crank, and he has an audience. He's built it up. I mean, and you might be going, who's this guy? If you haven't heard of him, if you've been on this channel for any length of time, you heard of him. But if you hadn't heard of him, you go look the guy up. He manages to just pull in money, much like Brian Polito. He has, he's not the topic of endless videos or streams or war on Twitter. He's a guy who's just putting out books and making money. And but my favorite always is we do the bit in the live stream of like guess the manga title and how many comics are coming out this month and that stuff. And Pat was hilarious. Just his expressions. And some of my favorite moments of this channel are absolutely like, here's some batshit crazy thing. And Pat's like, what? I just, no, I think he's great. Anyway, so, I think, the channel kind of suffers a little bit from, there's just not enough time in the day. And so I worked out a pretty good mechanism. I was talking to a friend a couple of weeks ago about this channel. And, he's telling me, he's like, yeah, I get in, I do the editing, and I do this, and it's kind of time consuming. And, my model, as I mentioned before, is very different. I used to record more stuff to desk. Now I'd say 99%, right under 100% is recorded in the car. And I have a choice. I can listen to, bad pop stations, or I can have a one-sided conversation with all of you. And that second one's better for me. So I come in and I talk about something, and it's clearly not produced, and I stammer and I pronounce things wrong. And, Sean Murphy will call up saying, you do know how to pronounce like Olivier Peel. And I'm like, yes. But in the back of my head, I'm like, do I know? I don't, how have I been? But anyway, it's a fun way to kind of talk about comics, get some of these ideas out in the air, get feedback back, get the mail back. It's been fun. It is not what I thought when I started this channel. And because I've left every single video up, you can go into how I thought this channel was going to go at the beginning. And it's not that, it's a different thing. And that's okay. Things evolve. But it's been fun talking with all of you. It's been fun kind of, getting into different topics. I've loved the live streams. Were a pain because they were a burden and a lot of work. But when they were fun, they were just so much fun. And the interviews were great. I gained new respect for a ton of people. Jim's up. Oh, by the way, funny moment. So months ago, I don't know. I rarely show up there too. I used to be more of a regular. But I brought the quality of the channel down. So I used to appear on Thinking Critical's Comic Aficionados every once in a while. So I was on the last one, and I mentioned like one of the guys who I think is just the nicest guy is Jim Zub. And Zub's, obviously, I think wrote a lot of good books. We've talked about him. We've talked to him, and I think he's a solid creator, and I think he does a lot of interesting things. And I think he's an interesting case study of, having a solid life and getting a lot of work done, and navigating kind of comics. And I go on this site, and there's another guest on the show who's like, he is the worst human in the world. And not with that voice, but it's like that's going to remain in my mind. And one of the biggest what moments, like I didn't see that coming at all. And I have very high respect for Zuff. So but it's fascinating how two different perspectives come into play. Sounds like that situation got all resolved, but it's been fun doing this. Like I said, I'm gonna kind of slowly burn my way through these videos, record things every now and then. The recording is slowed down. Like I would drive, to go to the airport or something, and I do 2 to 3 videos up, 2 to 3 videos back. And so that's 6 videos. I'd get into maybe the hotel room, and I'd do another 2 or 3 videos. And so these things would stack up. And so that's why I got into doing 2 videos a day, 3 videos a day, because, I can record, when I'm in that pace, anywhere from about 20 to 30 videos a week, easy. And there are videos, by the way, that have never made it on the air, where I'm super pissed off, and I probably should have just put them out there, but look, it wouldn't have gone well. Every time I'm like mildly irritated at something. I was mildly irritated months ago. And some of the people who saw themselves in that video just flipped out about it. And they're like, here comes, 8 hours of live streams to bitch about this time that Perch was mildly irritated about a topic he no longer remembers because that was roughly 4 months ago and he had been drinking. Okay. Yeah. The stuff that gets really, where I'm really irritated does go, typically I'll just like, I'll just delete that one. They're funny. I think the ones where I'm really angry probably are probably some of the funnier ones for sure on the channel. And it is a no fucks given, like, there's not a consistent target. That's the problem with YouTube. You got to get a channel and a following. You got to have a consistent target. You got to like pick the lane you're going to go after and stick with it. It's like, you can't bounce around. If you bounce around, you confuse everyone. They just don't take it, and it doesn't work. But it's easy to get frustrated in comics. I've watched a lot of friends get, I think, let down by the industry. I've watched a lot of dumb shenanigans get pulled. It's frustrating. This is a frustrating industry. It's a frustrating industry for sure. If you are a fan, you really invest yourself in it. God help you if you're a retailer. It's incredibly frustrating. But if you really kind of care about everything that's going on year after year after year, it's hard to watch this stuff. And I think that's one thing we can kind of wrap up with this, but it's one thing that a lot of people who, miss the nuance of what I'm saying is missing, is that at the heart, I love comics. I love the stories. I love the potential. I love the possibility. I love the freedom of it. And so when I see that, that gift, in this case, like the gift of comics, when I see it not taken care of, when I see it abused, it's particularly irritating. And, whether it's creators, legendary creators just not getting a call because these editors who are like 23 don't know their names and, don't say, it's like, well, none of my friends know who Walt Simonson is, so why would we give him work? It's stuff like that. It's the frustration of having to kind of explain things to creators that I think the publishers should do. You know how many contracts I've looked at to try and explain? A lot. Do you know how many times I've had to go research how a comic is selling for a creator because, the company wouldn't tell them? And I had not a disagreement, but somebody say, I don't believe that's true. Very aggressive. I told this story, and it is true. It's happened more than once where, an editor told a writer, hey, your comic is selling like hundreds of thousands of copies. And it was not. It was selling like 30,000, 40,000. And it's like a complete and absolute lie. I mean, you play the game of like liar or stupid. Is the editor, does the editor actually believe that or what? But I mean, this is not uncommon. And it's absolutely wrong. And it doesn't help the industry, and it doesn't help the business. And it leads to a lot of the problems that we talk about. It's just this lack of care, like it's an actual functional business. It is a business. Whether you're crowdfunding, whether you're part of Marvel, it's, you're in the process of producing something, building something, getting to a good result, collecting money, paying that money. I mean, just that you're in a business, and you can still have lots of fun in a business. I've had lots of fun over the years in the businesses that I've either taken part of or ran. But that doesn't mean it's fun all the time. You do have to, to have some sense of discipline to actually run a functional business, even if it's for something fun and amazing like comics. But anyway, thank you very much for the questions. They didn't piss me off. It's easy to piss me off on certain topics, but those topics, there's not many. It's just a few. And generally speaking, it's easy. I mean, Christ, I've put up with mumbles for years. So, how bad could it get? I mean, it can't be bad from the same regurgitated shitty joke over and over every day. But in fairness, he could say the same thing about my channel. Thanks for listening.